Now we are discussing the process and project metrics. As we have already discussed, that the metrics are the main important ingredient or the aspect of knowing the quality, assessing the quality, and anticipating the quality. So we are talking about the process and the project metrics today. A good manager, he always try to measure the process as well as the product. So, in terms of process metrics, project metrics, and product metrics, so how can or how do we use as a basis? Like that if I want to travel and want to measure, I will measure in kilometers, right? I want to weight myself. I weigh myself means I will weigh in kg. How to measure the software now? The one question is this. So how do we measure? The project metrics enable the software project manager, first of all, to assess the status of the ongoing project, what is the status where we lie right now, and he can track the potential risk, which thing or which portion of my project is lagging, where I am lagging, where I can improve upon. And the project metrics will uncover problem areas before they go beyond hand or become critical. And they also adjust workflow tasks, and then the project metrics allows the manager to evaluate the project team's stability and ability to control quality of software work products. In terms of process measurement, we measure the efficacy of the software process indirectly. What do we mean? We mean that we derive a set of metrics based on the outcomes that can be derived from the process. So, what are the outcomes? The outcomes will include the measure of errors uncovered before release of the software, even before the release, the defects which are delivered to and which are reported by the end users, the work product that are delivered or the productivity you can say, the human effort expended and the calendar time which is expended, the schedule conformance, and there are various other measures. So we also derive the process metrics by measuring the characteristics of specific software engineering tasks. What are the guidelines we need to know? We need to understand about the process metrics. We use common sense first of all and organizational sensitivity when interpreting the matrix data. This provide the regular feedback to the individuals and teams who collect the measures and metrics. We don't use the metrics to appraise anyone. We work with the practitioners and teams to set the clear goals and metrics that will be used to achieve them. And we never use metrics to threaten anyone. Metrics data that indicate a problem area should not be considered negative, but an opportunity to become better. These data are merely an indicator of process improvement, and don't obsess on a single metric to the exclusion of other important metrics. So when we need to improve the software, we need software process improvement. So the process model, the improvement goals, and the process metrics, they all go into SPI, that is software process improvement. And the process improvement recommendations are the results. In the process metrics, they may be quality related, which focus on quality of work products and deliverables. They can be productivity related, that means the production of work products related to effort expended. The statistical SQA data, that is the error categorization and analysis. Also the defect removal efficiency or DRE, the propagation of errors from process activity to activity, and reuse data is the number of components produced and the degree of reusability. So the project metrics now is used to minimize the development schedule by making the adjustment necessary to avoid any delays and also mitigate potential problems and risks. Project metrics are used to assess product quality on an ongoing basis, mean continuous basis. So when necessary, modify the technical approach to improve the quality. In every project should measure various things. Most importantly, the inputs, the outputs, and the results. Inputs means we measure the resources, that is the people, tool which are required to do the work. Output means we measure the deliverables or work products created during the software engineering process, and the results we measure that indicate the effectiveness of the deliverables. So they are typical project metrics which we can see: effort time per software engineering task, errors which are uncovered per review hour, the scheduled versus the actual milestone dates, and the change in the number and their characteristics. The distribution of effort on software engineering tasks. These are typical project metrics. Along with this, we have typical size-oriented metrics like errors per KLOC. KLOC means kilo line of code or thousand line of code. The defects per KLOC, the amount per LOC, and the pages of documentation per KLOC, errors per person month, the errors per review hour, the LOC per person month, and the dollar or the amount per page of documentation. There are certain typical function-oriented metrics also, like errors per function point, that is 1000 line of codes, the defects per function points, the amount per function points, the pages of documentation per function points, and the function point per person month. When you want to compare the line of code and the function point, if you consider the programming languages like Ada or C++ or any other, the line of code per function point will be given by these values. Okay, the average is the second column, median, the low, the high. So these are the representative values developed by and QSM, that is an agency. So it depends on programming language also which you are using, and on the basis of that we can get the LOC and FP measure. So why do we opt for function points? Number of functionality which we are going to deliver. The function points, first of all, it is programming language independent, and it is used readily countable characteristics that are determined early in the software process. And we do not penalize inventive or short implementation that may use the fewer LOC line of code that other more clumsy or longer implementation may be there. And it makes it easier to measure the impact of reusable components also. In terms of object-oriented metrics, we see the use cases, that is the number of scenario scripts, the number of support tasks, means the which are required to implement the system but are not immediately related to the problem domain. The average number of support class per key, analysis class, a number of subsystem, an aggregation of classes that support a function that is visible to the end user of a system. And when we come to the web app project metrics, web application project metrics, we need to see the number of static web pages, dynamic pages, internal page links, persistent data objects, external system interface, static content objects, dynamic content objects, or executable functions. So these are all number of things or the quantity of all these that can give you an idea of the web app. So each of these preceding measures which can be determined as a relatively early stage, for example, in the early stage of the software development. So you can define a metric that reflects the degree and the end user customization that is required for the web app, and you can correlate it to the effort which is expended on the project, and also the errors uncovered as reviews and testing are conducted. So for that we define NSP, that is the number of static web pages, NDP, number of dynamic web pages. So the customization index would be NDP by NDP plus NSP, that is number of dynamic pages by number of dynamic pages plus static pages, and the value of C ranges from 0 to 1. So as C will grow larger, the level of web app customization becomes a significant technical issue. And to measure the quality, we need to see the correctness, maintainability, integrity, and usability. Correctness means the degree to which a program operates according to the specification. That is the specification you have made already. That is the SRS, you can say. The maintainability, that is the degree to which a program is amenable to change. Integrity means the degree to which the program is impervious to any outside attack. And the usability, the degree to which a program is easy to use. And then to measure integrity, two additional attributes must be defined for this integrity: threat and security. So threat is the probability that an attack of specific type will occur within a given time, and security is the probability. These two are both are probability, and security is the probability that the attack of special type will be repelled So threat is the probability that an attack of specific type will occur within a given time, and security is the probability that the attack of specified type will be repaired. So the integrity of a system can be defined as the summation of 1 minus threat into 1 minus security. So it is inside, that is sigma 1 minus then threat into 1 minus security, like this. For instance, just take an example. If the threat, that is the probability that an attack will occur or attack will occur, is 0.25, and security, that is the likelihood of repelling an attack, is 0.95. The integrity would be, if we place these values here, it will be 0.99, very high. If at all, on the other hand, the threat is 0.50 and that is the likelihood of repelling an attack is only 0.25, the integrity of a system will become 0.60, which is unacceptably low. Then we come to the DRE, that is defect removal efficiency. How many defects are there? How many are removed? Let us see what this expression is all about. DRE is E by E plus D. E is the number of errors found before delivery of the software to the end user, and D is the number of defects found after delivery, before and after. So E, number of errors before, and D, number of defects. So these are errors because they are before, defects because they are after. So E by E plus D. This is DRE. This DRE also shows the kind of how many errors we are able to remove. This is also an aspect of quality. So metrics for a small organization, we can have time, that is time or hour, which elapsed from the time as request is made until evaluation is complete, TQ. Effort to perform the evaluation, WEval. The time elapsed from completion of evaluation to assignment of change order to personnel, TEval. And effort required to make the change, time required to make the change, error uncovered during work to make change, E-change, and defect uncovered after change is released to the customer base, D-change. Now, the defect removal efficiency, as you know, we have just known that E-change by D-change. So how do you establish a matrix of a program, a matrix program? First of all, we need to identify our business goals and identify what you want to know or learn, the sub goals, the entities and attributes related to the sub goals. Formalize the measurement goals. Identify quantifiable questions and related indicators that you will use to help achieve certain measurement goals. Identify the data elements that you will collect to construct the indicators that help answer our question. Define the measurement we use and make these definitions operational, and also identify the actions that we are going to take to implement these measures, and then prepare a plan for implementing the measures. So this was about the process and project metrics. Thank you so much.